But what I want you to understand is that this next month is probably the start date. Everything we've talked to leads me over the last few weeks, and everything I've studied and looked at leads me to the fact that this September, October, the immediate time in front of us is going to be a supernatural time. If we don't see all kinds of Nephilim here, what happens in September will be the root cause. It will be the action that started the reaction. It will be, we will look back to September and say, this is when it started. This is where and how it happened. And we can look for a lot of supernatural stuff. And one of the most supernatural things that happens is a deception. A deception. And those who are not close to God are going to be deceived. And I will repeat it again. You've got whole churches full of people here who worship a little Jesus, who is very politically correct, never offends anybody, just a wonderful little wimpy guy who takes you to heaven no matter what you do. And these people are going to see Antichrist, and they are going to immediately identify him as Jesus Christ. They are going to immediately say, this is Christ's return. This is Jesus' return. This is the reincarnation of Jesus. Apollo, the Bible says, Apollyon, Abaddon, is going to come back. Let's talk just for a minute about who that is. And he is going to be incarnate in the Antichrist. I'm going to say some things here that I don't have time to back up, but if you want to, talk to me on the internet or whatever, or I can get you a list of links where you can go and study these things out. Because I've spent a lot of time studying ancient pagan religions and everything else, because this thing is all connected. It all leads. Ancient pagan religions are lie. They are a lie. But Satan has this habit of not inventing something new. He takes something that's true and he twists it. And if you go back far enough, you can find the truth that he started with, the truth that he actually twisted. And so, let's go back. One of the things I said that we might discuss tonight is about the fact that the virgin birth goes back 3,000 years before Jesus was born to Mary. All of the ancient religions, the goddess religions, it goes all the way back to the Gnostic belief that when Eve fell, actually they don't believe she fell, they believe she broke free from the evil God who created her. When she broke free, when she obeyed and followed the serpent, she recreated herself and she became such a different character than she was before that she was in fact virgin born. She gave birth to herself. She was virgin born. She recreated herself in her own image, or in the image of Lucifer, or whatever. And out of this, every ancient religion has these virgin births. And that goes back to the fact, obviously, that God in Genesis 3 shared the gospel with Lucifer. Told him, this is what's going to happen. And so Lucifer began to do some things, and he invented this religion that came out of ancient Babylon, which some of the pagans like to refer to that society as Sumer or Sumerian society, S-U-M-E-R, not S-U-M-M-E-R, Summer, but Sumer. And so that society where Nimrod came up. We have Nimrod, and we have his wife, and we have all of these characters, and they are carried on. The Egyptians took the same characters into their religion and gave them Egyptian names. And then the Greeks took them from the Egyptians and gave them Greek names, and then the Romans took them from the Greeks and gave them Roman names, and the Chinese gave them Chinese names, and on and on. So we have a lot of different names. So Nimrod and Apollo, Apollyon, are the same character. So where does this Apollo that is supposed to come up? He's been locked up. He's been locked up since the day he died. His spirit has been locked up in Tartarus, which is sort of a lower hell, the worst part. He's been locked up. But in the end days, in the days of the tribulation, he is broken free. And I think that's what CERN's all about, is a technological effort to open a gate, and I think they will be successful. And they will open a gate, and out will come Apollo. And Apollo, the spirit thereof, will be incarnate and become incarnate in the Antichrist. Let me give you a scenario of how that of how that happens. And let's start with who Nimrod was. Nimrod was a Gaborim. He was Nephilim, but of a higher standard than most of your average giants, because the angels slept with women, and the women had children who were Nephilim. And the Nephilim intermarried with human beings, and the children of the Nephilim were the Gaborim, which is another word for giants. And so it carried down. But at the Nephilim level, what happened was that since there was going to be a seed of the woman who would be the Son of God, and Satan understood this, obviously, by what he did all through the Old Testament. You can see that he understood what was going to happen. And so Satan found a woman who was a Nephilim. She was Nephilim. She was half and half. And he had sex with her and gave birth to Nimrod. Nimrod was one of a kind because Nimrod wasn't half and half. Nimrod was 2/3 angel and 1/3 human. And he ruled in Babylon. When he died, there's a lot of weird stories. When he died, his wife, bless her heart, got herself pregnant, and she said it was a virgin birth, but we sort of doubt that. But anyway, she got herself pregnant. She had a son, and that son was told to be, she told everybody that that son was her husband reincarnated, and as soon as he got old enough, she married her son, and she ruled for 130 years in Babylon. And the women still were weeping for Tammuz. This was the Queen of Heaven, who became so well known and is now the Queen of Heaven, connected with Mary worship and whatever. All of this is in the ancient worship, but we have Nimrod. Let's stick with Nimrod. Nimrod is 2/3 watcher and 1/3 human. He is literally the seed of Satan. God told, when God in Genesis 3:15 was talking to Satan, he said, her seed and your seed, comparing the two. God had a son, Satan has a son. That son as a spirit is known as Lucifer. And so we have two beings. We have Satan, who is dark. We have Lucifer, who is light, the light bearer. We have Lucifer, who was the king of Babylon, who was ascending the tower and trying to be above the throne of God. We have him, but now he is without a body. He is locked up, but he still has power on the earth. And he has, like the mob boss who is in federal prison, but still runs an organization on the outside. That goes on. All of your secret societies, the Skull and Bones, the Masons, and 1,000 others, are looking for Apollo to be resurrected and to run the earth. We are told that Antichrist is wounded with the sword, wounded in the head, and with a mortal wound. That means that he dies. And then we are told, yet he lives. He's resurrected. I believe that what is going to happen is that whoever the Antichrist is going to be ascending as a demonized human being. I mean, he's going to be very demon controlled. But he's still human, demon controlled. He gets killed. He lies in state for a couple of days. Somebody comes up and does something, and suddenly he comes to life. It says the whole world watches. I mean, that's amazing. How did they know that there would be TV and that the whole world could watch? But the whole world's watching, and he comes to life. And at that point, everybody accepts him as God. This is Jesus. But what it is Lucifer, Apollo, Apollyon, whatever you want to call him, has come up and taken a dead body whose spirit is now in hell. The real spirit of the Antichrist, the spirit of the man, is gone in hell. But somehow Lucifer himself, Apollo, comes into that body, breathes life into that body, and that body comes back. And in a sense, this is the fake Jesus Christ. This is the fake Jesus Christ, because Satan fakes everything. You understand what I'm saying? Satan fakes everything. So if Jesus rose from the dead, Antichrist will rise from the dead. If Jesus Christ was God incarnate, Antichrist will be Satan or Lucifer incarnate. You understand? He will be the son of Satan. In the same sense that Jesus was the son of God, he will be the son of Satan. And so that's what's going to happen, and that's what we're looking at, and that's what we're looking forward to. And everything that happens next month is aimed at that event. That event does not necessarily happen next month. But next month, the stage will be set for that event. And it's going to affect everything. Next month is going to set into motion a series of things, probably including a complete financial collapse like the world has never seen, which will give rise to the New World Order and the Antichrist. And it will be so bad that every nation in the world, including the United States, is going to be willing to lower their flag and raise the flag of the UN, or a new flag, a one world flag. They're going to all lower their borders, and we're going to declare ourselves a one world instead of nations. And Satan will have accomplished what he's been working on since Babel. At Babel, God separated the people, which is sort of chaotic. The Masonic motto is out of chaos, order. Ordo ab cow. and in Latin, the order out of chaos. That your dollar bill says e pluribus unum, out of many one, which is occulting. This is Satan's goal, always, to undo what was done at Babel and to return Nimrod to be the ruler of the world once more. Nimrod, who ruled the whole world before Babel, in the brief period of the tribulation, that same spirit in the body of a man will rule a unified world. Of course, he loses.